Well, ladies and gentlemen, this right here, this is the moment Democrats were hoping would never arrive, because what you're watching unfold right now, this isn't rumor, this isn't speculation, and it isn't some online firestorm that fades in 48 hours. This is convergence, okay? I'm talking about separate stories, separate scandals, suddenly crashing into one another at the worst possible time. And Democrats, they can feel it slipping out of their control. So on the one side, you got Ilhan Omar, once shielded by denials and deflection, now facing some growing scrutiny over deep political ties to a Minnesota fraud scandal that simply refuses to stay buried. No charges yet, but the questions are getting louder, sharper, and no longer coming from the fringe. Now, I've been reading your comments, and a lot of people are leaning in one particular direction. In fact, I would say the majority of people are leaning in one direction. Drop and arrest Omar if you feel like Ilhan Omar should be arrested, or if you think Ilhan Omar is innocent, drop an innocent down below. I think that will confirm everything. Now, at the exact same time, AOC's campaign spending bombshell detonates, exposing a rather stunning optics problem that feeds directly into the hypocrisy narrative that Democrats have spent years insisting doesn't exist. But then comes the real shift. This is the part that changes everything. Treasury moves in, not media outrage, not partisan noise, federal financial scrutiny. So under a Trump administration, that has zero incentive to slow walk, soften language, or even protect reputations. And so this is why you're seeing panic, okay? This is why the messaging is breaking down. This is why the silence feels a lot louder than the denials. Because when investigations expand, when stories collide, and when enforcement replaces spin, control evaporates real fast. So tonight, we're going to see exactly why they're scrambling, why the story is only getting bigger. Hit the like button and subscribe. But matter of fact, a lot of you folks have been telling me, Ron, I've been unsubscribed to the channel. Double check and make sure you're still subscribed. And your subscription to the channel really does help the movement. So here's the shift you really need to understand right out of the gate. Oh, and by the way, I just want to thank you guys so much for being here. So this is no longer Democrats arguing about whether something bad is coming. That phase is already over. We're past that. What you're watching right now is the Democrats reacting to confirmation, reacting to escalation. The language has changed. It's clear. The posture has changed. The confidence is gone. Now, for years, stories like this, they were waved away as right-wing conspiracy, internet noise, or maybe even political theater. But now, these are not YouTube theories anymore. These are acknowledged investigations, documented prosecutions, and federal agencies putting real resources on the table. And the timing matters. The timing matters a lot. Donald Trump is back in the White House. The enforcement posture is completely different. There's no incentive to protect reputations. There's no reason to slow walk reviews. There's really no political upside to burying the files now. This is a post-denial moment, and Democrats know it, because once something moves from dismissal to documentation, panic sets in real fast. They thought that this was going to stay buried. Well, let's just say it didn't, and I wasn't going to let that thing stay buried. I would have just dug it up manually myself if I had to. But let's go ahead and ground this in the facts, because this is where credibility really comes from. So the Minnesota welfare and pandemic fraud cases are real. This ain't just some hype. There is no hype around this. This is truth here. They're documented. They have produced multiple convictions, guilty pleas, and ongoing prosecutions. Now, this isn't speculative. This is in court records, okay? And critically, it didn't stop where it started. What began as a state level issue expanded outward, pulling in federal agencies as the scope became clearer. More defendants, more money, more unanswered questions. This is why this isn't fading. It's actually growing. So every time officials or media figures suggest this chapter is closing, another layer peels back, another connection surfaces, another filing hits the docket. You see what I'm saying here, guys? This is the part that rattles the people in power, because as more of these things get exposed, the closer and closer to taking down these big dogs happen, okay? Because scandals that shrink, they can be managed, but scandals that expand cannot. And this one just keeps on getting wider and wider, not through rhetoric, but through process, which kind of brings us to the next problem. Democrats, they don't want to talk about this one. Now, before I talk about the next one, let me pause right here just for a second, because what we're talking about right now isn't just abstract for a lot of people. I heard from a couple recently who had been saving for a small vacation, nothing extravagant, just a few days away to reset, recharge, breathe a little bit, right? We all need that. And then it vanished overnight, wiped out by a surprise medical bill that hit their Medicare plan because the Medicare plan didn't cover it. The husband told me we needed this trip more than the doctor did. Now, that's the part that people don't warn you about. It's not just the bill, it's the plans that it's steals from you. This is why I partner with Chapter. They help prevent this exact kind of situation by checking every corner of your Medicare coverage, the gaps, the fine print, the things that most people don't even find out about until it's too late. They are completely unbiased. They're not trying to sell you anything. It costs you nothing. In fact, it's 100% free service. And most people, they don't even need convincing anymore. It's just that most people just want clarity. They just want to know, can I sleep at night without worrying? And I get it. This is why so many people are already calling the phone number at the bottom of your screen, 909-563-8279, or they're visiting askchapter.org/Ron on the internet. The link is down below. Click the link right now to make sure that your coverage actually protects the life that you're trying to build and live, because you deserve it, guys. All right, so let's get back to the story. Let's be very, very precise here, because precision is really what gives this story weight, okay? As of today, Ilhan Omar has not been charged with a crime related to the Minnesota fraud cases. Does that bother anyone that she hasn't been charged with a crime yet? This key point matters, okay? But here's what also matters just as much. Political exposure doesn't require an indictment. The issue Democrats are grappling right now is proximity, associations, campaign donations that were later returned or questioned. Yeah, events held in overlapping circles, legislative decisions that now look different in hindsight. None of that is illegal by itself, but together it creates a rather interesting pattern that invites scrutiny. And here's the line Democrats hate crossing: no evidence is not the same as no investigation. When questions shift from fringe accusations to mainstream political liability, the damage starts early. You don't need handcuffs for panic to set in. You just need unanswered questions stacking up faster than talking points can keep pace. That's where Ilhan Omar finds herself today and right now. And this is why Democrats are suddenly a lot quieter. You remember the squad? Where are they now, right? So now, why this reaction today instead of months or years ago is the big question. Because the environment has changed, guys. Donald J. Trump is back in office, and with that comes a very different enforcement posture across the DOJ, the Treasury, and DHS. No more hesitation driven by optics. No more fear of internal backlash. No more incentive to delay reviews until headlines fade. Compare that to prior years. Slow responses, cautious language, and endless emphasis on perception management. That approach doesn't exist anymore. What's really driving this moment isn't media outrage, it's process. Files being reviewed, financial records being traced, agencies coordinating instead of deferring. And, well, Democrats understand this better than anyone. They already know once momentum shifts from narrative control to institutional action, there is no easy off-ramp. The cover that they relied on is gone. So when people hear Treasury is involved, they often misunderstand what that signals. This isn't about press conferences or political statements. This is about financial tracing. Treasury's role is rather narrow, technical, and powerful. They follow money, wire transfers, nonprofit flows, grant distribution, and cross-agency funding pipelines. They don't speculate. They document. And once they start pulling the records, the scope can expand quickly in ways nobody controls. And so this is why Treasury involvement changes the temperature instantly. What it means is the focus has shifted from headlines to spreadsheets, from rhetoric to transactions, from who said what to where the money actually went. Now, under a Trump administration, that coordination with DOJ isn't theoretical, it's operational. And it doesn't require anyone to be accused of terrorism or corruption or anything else extreme for serious exposure to exist. Improper flows alone, those are big enough to trigger some consequences, some serious consequences. And so once Treasury starts pulling threads, nobody decides where it leads. Not politicians, not the media, not leadership. So we need to talk about the AOC spending story, because this wasn't about legality. It was about timing and optics. And the facts are straightforward. FEC filings show campaign spending in Puerto Rico on hotels, meals, even some event-related expenses, whatever that means. There's no allegation that it was illegal. That's not the story. The story is contradiction. At a moment when Democrats are already defending themselves against claims of misused funds, elite protection, and double standards, this drops. Now, visually, publicly, documented, it's kind of hard to argue. And it's tied to someone whose brand is built on attacking excess and privilege. That's why it went viral, folks. Not because of AOC's shocking policy experts, but because it clicked emotionally. It reinforced a narrative that Democrats were already struggling to contain. Not illegal, just perfectly timed. And so when stories like that land while Treasury is tightening scrutiny elsewhere, panic doesn't need instructions. It spreads naturally. This is where everything starts to feel bigger than the individual stories themselves. Now on their own, the Omar scrutiny, the AOC spending headlines, and Treasury's involvement might have been manageable. Different lanes, different news cycles, different defenses. But that's not how it's landing. What the Democrats are facing right now is convergence. Separate narratives are beginning to rhyme. Misuse of funds, elite protection, accountability gaps, and now federal scrutiny. Guys, that doesn't require coordination or conspiracy. It happens naturally when credibility is already constrained. And so when stories echo one another, the public connects them emotionally, not legally. That's when panic spreads, even without indictments. It's not like one fire burning out of control. It's sparks landing everywhere at once, starting all these individual fires. And so once that perception sets in, the party loses the ability to isolate the damage. You can't say, oh, this has nothing to do with that, when voters are feeling as if it all fits together. You know what I'm saying here? So this is the wave that Democrats are trying and failing, mind you, to outrun. So watch the media real carefully, guys. MSNBC, CNN, all these different ABC News. At first, stories like this were dismissed. They were labeled as overblown, framed as partisan noise. That's the silence phase. But now you see a scramble. Coverage is cautious. Language is hedged. Stories are reported, but narrowly. Context is stripped down to avoid connective tissue. And that's not because journalists suddenly changed their minds. It's because the facts force their hand and they can't ignore it anymore. And they also cannot fully explain it without validating concerns that they spent years brushing aside. This is why the trust keeps eroding. And I think this is why you guys really appreciate the channel here, because we break the truth down for those who may not have noticed, because they do a very good job of trying to hide it from you. This isn't coordination, it's restraint. Once official processes start moving, media outlets lose flexibility. They report what they must, they avoid what they can, and they hope the audience doesn't notice what's missing. But people notice. And silence followed by scramble, this is one of the most loudest signals that there is. Now here's the context Democrats understand instinctively, even if they won't say it out loud, because they don't want to admit it. Under President Trump, the federal government's posture toward enforcement is fundamentally different. Not louder, not theatrical, stricter. The emphasis is on audits, the clawbacks, documentation, and accountability, not narrative management. There are no promises being made. There are no speeches about outcomes, just directional clarity. Agencies are expected to do their jobs, follow the money, and act on what they find. That matters because in previous years, hesitation was baked into the system. Concerns about optics, internal pushback, fear of headlines, that friction slowed down everything. Well, guys, that friction is gone now. And Democrats know it. They know that enforcement doesn't need political drama to be effective. It just needs permission. And right now, that permission is clearly there. This isn't the same referee anymore. And when the rules start being enforced consistently, people who've grown comfortable skating close to the line suddenly feel exposed. Now, here's the part that really drives the panic. It's not Elon Omar's name. It's not AOC's headline. It's the next name. Investigations rarely stop at the first layer. They move outward. Donors, consultants, nonprofits, vendors, intermediaries. People who never expected scrutiny suddenly realize that their proximity matters. This is why silence becomes strategy. This is why statements get shorter. This is why distancing happens quietly instead of publicly, because uncertainty is the real threat. No one knows whose emails gets reviewed next, which financial relationships draw attention, which past decision looks different under a new lens. And when you don't know where the boundary is, you assume that it's closer than you thought. Nobody knows whose phone rings next. And that's why Democrats aren't defending aggressively right now. They're waiting, they're watching, and they're hoping, and they're praying that the spotlight doesn't move in their direction. So even without indictments, the consequences are already showing up quietly but unmistakably. I mean, you could see it in the polling pressure, especially among independents and soft Democrats who just do not follow every detail, but they feel like something's off. You can see it in the donor behavior, where hesitation replaces enthusiasm and the checks arrive later, if at all. And you can see it internally, where allies stop speaking up and distance themselves without making announcements. Watch the language. It's more careful, less absolute, fewer blanket defenses. That's not confidence. That is risk management, because political damage doesn't wait for verdicts. It starts when trust erodes, when explanations feel rehearsed, when silence feels strategic instead of natural. By the time changes happen, if they happen at all, the ground has already shifted. Careers are weakened long before courtrooms get involved. Damage happens long before charges, and Democrats know that better than anybody. So let's be very clear as we close this out. No claims here beyond the facts. No predictions dressed up as certainty, but trajectories matter. And the one thing that is moving in a direction that Democrats don't control, well, this whole story here. What you're watching is not a single scandal. This is a system under stress. Scrutiny expanding, enforcement tightening, narratives collapsing, and silence replacing confidence. The smart way to follow this is not by chasing the headlines. It's by watching the patterns. Who stops talking? Who changes their tone? Which stories quietly resurface after months of dismissal? Because what scares them most isn't what we already know. It's about what hasn't surfaced yet. Now, this is the early phase. Let me tell you guys, the uncomfortable phase where control slips, but outcomes aren't visible. And history shows once momentum reaches this point, it rarely reverses. So stay sharp, guys. Stay observant. This story isn't ending. In fact, it's only just getting started. Hit the like button, subscribe. We'll see you next time.